Rachael Blakeway and I'm a recycling / upcycling artist. I have some examples of my work on show for you today. I'm just going to go through some of them and tell you what materials I use. So starting with the chapel at the top, perhaps I should put it down. Okay, so the actual window is made from used sweet wrappers and wrapping paper. So I find an interesting pattern which I think will look good as a stained glass window. So on this one I've got these little squares and it's from a toffee wrapper at the bottom of the squares there. And the roof is made, I like the texture of the roof, and it's from offcuts of this material which you put under vinyl on your tables. So it's got a nice texture to it. And then the little cross is just from some jewellery, broken jewellery that used to have a chain on it. Okay. And the ship, the sails, I use a lot of this striped material. You might recognise it, it's from a tea cake wrapper. So I just love the sort of retro look of the pattern, and I glue it to paper and then tissue paper on the top and then cut it into the sails, and then the portholes are from these. Oh, where's they gone? These guys, which are little curtain rings from the curtains. So they're brilliant little curtain hooks. And then this is just all paper mache cardboard, and the waves are from textured wallpaper, again offcuts that I've collected. Another material I use a lot of is paper pulp, which I make from newspaper, which I boil up, blitz in a food mixer, not one that I use for cooking, and then mix it with glue, PVA, glue, wallpaper paste and polyfiller to make it mouldable, and I can use it to make different shapes. So this is what it looks like when it's dry but not painted, and then I paint it, and I made this one into a lemon wedge, and I quite like when it dries. Also, I've used paper pulp for the mackerel, which have been quite popular this year, and then again I can mould it to get the different shapes. And I've also used it on the window frame for this 3 ships piece, and I could get a nice thick windowsill ledge. So that's another popular material I use. And then on the Granny on her sports car, again it's paper mache with cardboard. The tree is textured wallpaper, which I sort of layered up, cut and layered. And then the wheels are from cotton reel ends. So I collect things that I think are interesting textures or shapes, and I try and imagine what I can use them for. So I saw the shape of that, I thought it looked a bit like a hubcap with the different spikes going in, and I've used it for a wheel, and then added a brass button. Buttons is another favourite thing of mine that I use. I've got lots of buttons. Okay, so as it's nearly Christmas, I'm going to show you how to make a wreath, but it's going to be using some recycled materials along with some greenery which you find in the garden. So there's one as I made earlier, as I said. And on it we've got the red flowers, which are made from pie cases, empty pie cases, and empty tea light candles. And then the actual stars are made from this gold foil, which you might recognise, it's from cat food or dog food tins. And then also on the centres I've used beer bottle caps, and as it's Christmas we have the fizz ones as well, the gold. Okay, so I'll just rest that down and I'm going to show you how to make it. So to actually make all the greenery, I just used bits from the garden, so holly, bit of ivory, this fir stuff which is from the hedge, and I just basically tied them all together just to make a simple circle shape. And then to make the flowers, first of all I'll do the big flower which is at the top. So with scissors, and I'm just going to cut down to the middle, and it's about a width of the thumb all the way around. So width of the thumb, cut down, move it along, and again, and again, and again. So it's like that. You're going to open it up. Then hold it with one hand, and then you're going to cut down at an angle to start making the petal shapes. Just slightly curve it with your scissors. Put it out. And you're going to do it all the way around. I'm not going to do all of it because it'll take too long, but you get the gist of it. And then you turn it over, and then you start cutting down the other side. So you're actually getting the petal shapes. Alright, so that's for the big flower on the top. And then for the smaller ones, I've just used a smaller pie case and done the same thing, cutting down about a thumb width, down again. I'll just do those few, and then cut down the side angle that way. Gently pull it out, turn it over, and then cut down the other side. So you've got all your petal shapes, and then with the tea light you do exactly the same. Obviously not with the thumb, maybe just guess it a bit. Put even width, and again cut down the sides in one way. Turn it over and go the other way. Go all the way round and then open it up so it looks like this. So then you're going to have, to cover it, now you can either paint it with some red acrylic paint, or if you haven't got red acrylic paint you can use some tissue paper. Now you can, these are red so you can use red tissue paper, but if you haven't got red tissue paper you can use white and then paint it red. So I'll just do it with the tea light one, so you flatten it all out. I'll take a good brush. Got some PVA glue in here, so it needs to be quite thick. Cover the flower. Make sure there's plenty of glue on it. Like so. Push it onto your tissue paper. And do the same again, cover it with glue, go right on there, over the edges as well. And then you're going to sandwich your tea light flower. It's quite nice to feel that. Press it down. And I'm going to put another couple of layers on as well to make it a bit more robust. Flatten it down, turn over. Obviously I'm going quickly, you can take your time. Squash it on, push it down. And then pick it up, it's quite nice, you can feel it. Squeeze around all the petals, make sure it's all sticking. Let that dry. So obviously I'll go a bit harder. I'm not going to let that dry because I'll just show you how I cut into the petals. So it might be quite hard to see where the actual flower is. So you might want to hold it up to the light so you can see where you're cutting. Okay, you're just going to cut around the petals. Just just like you were with just a tin. Mix the tin. Turn it over. And cut the other side. Gently pull the bits out. So go all the way round, and then it will look like this. And then I've put some gold on the top of that one just to highlight it, make it a bit more Christmassy. Okay, so you've got your big one, which I've painted with the red acrylic paint, and I haven't put tissue paper on there. It's quite nice because you've actually got the lines of the tin, giving it a bit more texture, so look a bit more like the petals, a bit like the Ponciata flower. So you've got your two, and then you need your centre bit. So I've used the bottle tops, like I said earlier. So I've just got a bottle top, I've got a hammer, and gently tapping to flatten it, so it'll be easier to stick into the centre of the flower. Now that's a beer bottle top, and I've said earlier about you could use fizz bottle tops, or you might want to use buttons, or even some old earrings or something. That's from an old clip-on earring. That might look quite nice in the centre. See if you had silver. I mean, obviously I'm doing red flowers, but you might want to have a silver wreath or a gold wreath. Depends on you really. Okay, so I've got the two, got a bottle top, that's been painted, and then I'm going to make some holes in the big one so I can thread some wire through to attach it to the wreath. So just two little holes, and I'm using, this is florist wire, which you can buy, or you might, oh there's like some brass coloured one you can buy as well, or you might even use thread. I'm going to push that through the holes where I need my glasses. Either side like that, so you've got enough length to play with at the back, so it'll be easier to tie to the wreath. And then you're going to glue the small one on the top. Now you can either use super glue, or if you've got my best friend, the glue gun, you can use a glue gun. So I'm just going to plug that in, let that warm up, and then I'm going to show you how to do the star bit. I'll just push that down there. Like I said, so just put that to the side a minute. So I've done 4 flowers on my wreath. You might want to do 3 or 5, it's up to you again, depends on how busy you want it to look. So while that's drying, we're going to go on to the stars. So as I said before, this is from a cat food tin, the lid. You might want to use another pie tin case. You can get these in red, blue, gold, or you might want to use silver. And then just going to turn it over and draw a star shape. I'm just doing it freehand, but you might want to use a template, pastry cutter maybe to draw around. So just a basic star, and then draw some lines in it. You press down hard with a biro or a pencil, and then when you turn it over, it's slightly relief. Again, making it a bit more interesting. I'm going to cut that out. So it's like so. And then on this on this wreath I've put some little red stars in the middle, so I'm going to use some of the the red pie tin. Okay, again you can do it freehand, or you can use a stamp cutter. This is a star one I've got, you can get from different craft shops or art shops. You might, some newsagents might do them this time of year. I'm just going to stamp one of those out. It's a perfect little star shape, and again that'll be stuck on the middle like so. Just wait for my glue gun. That warmed up now. It'll be longer. And then to attach the star, so you're not hurting all the greenery on the wreath, I've attached some pieces of ribbon. Now these are scraps from some crackers last year, my mother-in-law's crackers, and tied on the ends. So if you've got any, it doesn't have to be ribbon, you might have scraps of fabric, colourful fabric you could use. And then all I've done, tied it around parts of the wreath just to add a bit of colour as well. And just simple tie, not any fancy bows or anything, just simply like that. And then you can actually attach glue on the back of the star and just stick it on top of the ribbon, so you're not actually sticking it onto the greenery. So that's what I've done with all of those. Let's have a go, I think that might be ready now. So going back to the red flower, you've got your big one which is painted with a wire through it. You've got your tea light which you've either painted or got tissue paper on the back. I'm going to put a bit of glue on, like so. Stick it in the middle, a good push. Get your beer bottle can or your fizz can lid, again put some glue on. Squash that down, pick it up with a bit of a squeeze. A little bit of glue on the red star, careful not to burn yourself. Stick that in the middle, like so. And then they're just ready to attach to the wreath. Obviously I've got enough on there at the moment, but I'm just going to show you. So just find a bit of a stick or something, just tie around, find my ends, and then just twist. Tuck your ends in, and then it's attached. And because it's tin, you can play with them a bit and sort of pull the petals out and push them down a bit. They're quite flexible. And then there's your star. Again, I haven't got any ribbon. No, I've got some already. Again, I'll just stick it to the ribbon. And then when you've finished with it, at the end of the season, you can just untie all your little flowers and you can reuse them again next year. And the same with the stars as well. So, as I say, that's a red and gold one. You could do any colour, silvers, golds, blues. You might want to add some feathers to them. Or you might, as well as just putting stars on, you might want to just put some odd buttons on. You can get these nice, you go around the charity shops, some glass ones which are quite nice to catch the light, and put them on top. Or you might have a unusual beer top. That one's actually got a star on it. I've got one here which is very seasonal. It's actually got a goose on it. I have that particular beer. So it's free reign really. It'd be great to see some of your ideas and your different wreaths.